Well, hello there. This is Justin with another crossover minute. Been it's been a minute since I've done a minute, and it's never just a minute. Informal, maybe starting to get a little bit more formalized here though. I believe I have a series of thoughts coming in the near future. Definitely things stirring. I might have a little cough here, cough or two here during this particular message. So bear with that if it comes, because I feel one coming on. And forgive the lighting, one of these days I'll get this more tidied up and all that. But something has definitely, among other things, one thing has been very prominent in my heart yet again. And with some wonderful people recently conversing or sharing some thoughts and ideas around this area regarding just healing and restoration of the heart and soul. It's such a prominent thing that I can't describe how big it is within me. There's several things that are that are like that within me, but this probably has got to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest ones, probably besides injustice, along with injustice. I can't tell you how much I have seen over the years, going way back, but it just again and again and more people who have gone through such inordinate hurt and trauma and non trauma level pain and hurt to the heart and soul. Not even necessarily in physically, even though some have also gone through the physical violence from people that they trusted or that they were close to. But even if there hasn't been also a physical component, there have been so many people that have gone through just horrendous things. I I just I just cannot. I'm lost for words, even though I have so much to share about this. And so this clip here, this moment here, sitting with you and with whomever this especially pertains to, who have gone through any level or measure of this, sit beside you in just humble grace and solidarity and brokenness of heart. And I want to just speak to the healing journey, you know, and just a certain part of it. So I understand there's not everybody understands actually how much healing that we can actually experience. And it's a journey. It's not a moment. It's not just a one-time thing or a short thing and oh, I'm better now. We grin and bear things. Sometimes we go in survival mode. Sometimes we have to at certain stretches. If we don't have resources or we're not in a position to where we're able to really stop and, you know, but at a certain point, much sooner than later, we do have to do our own due diligence of coming to a place where the foot of the cross there is a humble place of surrender and healing and grace, and with the right people or persons to have fellowship with, community with, trust, that know how to help work the garden of our heart in those areas, help us process through things safely so that the harmful toxic level of emotions attached to these memories, things that we've experienced, can begin to be washed out, that those memories can be safely revisited and washed. And it can be a very intimidating thing because sometimes it's a while before we're really ready to get to certain depths of the heart and the experiences that are rooted in there, or sometimes buried in there if we've taken some time away from it too long. Um, but those of us who have been able to work through those things over a period of time, and that, hey, it's an understanding that it's a journey, sometimes a life journey. That's normal and fully expected. That's okay. It's okay that it's not always okay. It's okay that sometimes even a few years later we have to process through something we thought was already gone, ran its course, and that there's just another layer to it. That's normal. That's very normal. Residual things here and there. Our heart is very deep. It's not just broad, you know. And so, and that's okay. That's just normal. And there's, even for those who haven't gone through traumatic levels of things or deep hurts, there's still things that, you know, clutter and junk and sin and other stuff and just weird, you know, whatever, that just needs to be washed out. And it's just, there's a certain time and a season when a certain area or depth of the heart is time to work that area of the land. You know, it's totally normal. But especially if we've gone through certain things, you know, there's a post, I guess I'll call it, for lack of another way of putting it, a post aftercare or post care process, you know, or season or stretch or condition or phase that we could come into, that is time to, similar to how the restoration of a physical injury is after you have, you know, the ER visit, maybe operation, maybe more than one, you know, and, you know, critical care or some type of primary care, and then maybe some rehab and therapy and all that. There's a time where we're out the door and we're kind of back on our feet and back, but then we still have to, some of it have to do some relearning or just getting used to, or building, you know, through that post care, you know, rehab process, building that area of the body back up to initial health or to balance. And, you know, same thing with the heart and the soul. And some of that includes navigating something in and around the area where we were hurt, or the arena or setting of life where we were hurt, or injured, so to speak, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, relationally, whatever it was. And that takes time to not be so guarded or gun shy. I remember, you know, some years ago watching, you know, maybe a quarterback in football that had a severe leg injury that ended his season. And the next year, the way he played, and I've seen this multiple times actually with multiple guys, you know, was tentative and hesitant, and it took him a year or two or three or more, or maybe a couple of the guys, they never got used of being comfortable again, uh, in the pocket and navigating people flying around him, and not that their knees or their ankle or whatever is going to get injured again, or what, you know, um, and trusting their line, trusting protection, and just, and trusting their senses, and just being a little bit more careful and wise and cautious, but not being so gun shy to where they can't really function fully as a quarterback and do their job well. And same thing with us in our heart and our soul, and relationships, or um, endeavors, or other things, personal things, just within ourselves. Completely normal, completely understandable. Um, but there's a time and a place to kind of take a little bit of a next step, and a little bit of a next step, to kind of open up and measured in measured ways, let the walls come down a little bit, and open up healthy gates with filters and boundaries around those gates, so that we are wiser, but we are allowing our hearts to trust again, to opening it, but to the right type of people and things, or self, or whatever the setting or situation is. You know, it doesn't have to be something in a relationship. It could be just a big failure in work, or in ministry, or in life, or an endeavor, um, or personal habit failure that you're finally overcoming or working through, or just, it could be anything, because these are universal principles, you know. Or even overcoming or working through something that we haven't had in our life, that other people have had, a lot of people had, that is considered healthy or normal, or, and we feel like we've kind of missed a fundamental part of life in our upbringing, or in our, just our journey, that we want, or that maybe we're facing a situation where that kind of surfaces, and, or that we're just dealing with or processing through that, you know. So what do you think? What is what is it? What is it? What are the hindrances, or the barriers, or the obstacles to really allowing ourselves to breathe fully again, and trust again, or to love again, or to get out there again, and do our work, or put ourselves out there, or overcome this job loss, or this, that, or what, you know, our own failure? What is it that we can do to remind ourselves what healthy and centered and healed and wellness is, so that we can allow ourselves to begin to allow that grace to soak in and saturate that area of our heart and soul, for there's healing and restoration, to the point to where dignity is restored in that area, and confidence is restored in the area, but this time in maybe in a more humble posture, or in a way that we're not up on stilts or so vulnerable to being blindsided again, or or whatever. Or if we do fail, or if something happens, that we're able to better maybe avoid the blow, like the and just be able to manage and navigate it, in a more efficient way. And um, what can we do to find the right people and persons to be in connection with, fellowship with, relationship with, community with, that we can go a little deeper with friendships and trust, and leaning into each other and being there for one another. Just to there's so much more for us to experience in healing and restoration, and on the back end of whatever months or years of things that we have been at a deficit of, or been and under the thumb of, or in an inordinate situation, or circumstances that should have never happened. So I just this is just so full in my heart. I know many testimonies of people who have gone through crazier things than I ever did, and and I see their lives, I see their testimonies, and it doesn't mean everything's all perfect. No, it just means that they're well and they're growing. They have a healthy trajectory, and when they do come across those now more sensitive, tender areas of the heart and soul, when life brushes across those areas, they know what to do with it. They know where to go with it. They don't, always just fight, well, stay upright. They just know that, just come to a place of just prostrate surrender, of humble, just peace, just rest and stay, or work through with their loved ones. Okay, I'm going through a little bit more of a tough situation, or that thing kind of affected me. Just reground, resettle. Okay, and the more you stay in that place of just managing the tender areas of the garden, the more that there's just a rest and a strength and a covering that is not a Fort Knox wall, but rather just healthy filters and boundaries. And the right people have access to the tender vines in those areas of the garden, right? So, encouragement, great encouragement that is available to us, that God offers us in the healing process. I bless you in the name of Jesus. May you truly have something that you see that is a much broader opening and light in the journey that you're on, and that you see that it's for you, and it's for now, it's for the near future, it's for this life, and not just never to be experienced, or maybe one day, or way down the road, or in heaven, or another way. But there's some very practical way to walk this out today and tomorrow. Until next time, this is Justin with another crossover